Well, our boards are a key partner in all of this. They were a sounding board, thought partners, strategic visionaries with us as we were leading our separate organizations. So really from the beginning. A small subset of the board on each organization, legacy organization, was involved from the outset in thinking about this, strategic decision about how we would partner together. And were with us for a year and a half as we negotiated what this could look like. We also leveraged an outside consultant at 2 different points to help us as we were figuring out what Sean and I could work on together, and also how would we bring our boards together. So we are now a combined board, have been since May of 22. So we're almost at a year now, and excited to share that they are really thinking of themselves as Heights Philadelphia's board and thinking about the future of our organization.
That's great. And it's clear that both of you to really create that culture and get everybody on board.
Mm-hmm. Well, we think about the co-leadership as a really essential piece to this, not just about bringing the 2 separate organizations together, but really, if we're having that message about being better together, then that needs to be indicative of the leadership that we have, right? And I think all those, we kind of talk about as concentric circles, right? Going through that process, which, was a lot of work. To get the board to feel like it was Heights Philadelphia, we had to go through that process, right? Because it's a big deal for people, one, about the due diligence of really going through and making sure that we're making the right decision, but then also making sure that we don't lose the things that we loved that brought us to each separate organization as we go into the new one.
Yeah. And it's clear, that takes time. You guys started in 2018, and as you said, the board was fully together in 2022. Yeah.
That's right. So we're celebrating our year, and we called this year 0. So we're excited right? Launch into year 1 and really try and think differently. How are we better together? How are we continually pushing to change the story for students and really change the narrative around how we are running this?
That's great. So if someone's listening to this, another nonprofit executive perhaps, or maybe perhaps someone on a board for a nonprofit, what are some of the key milestones and or challenges that you think that you would want to speak to them about, to be kind of aware of?
I think there's, I would start off to say that, one of the milestones is there a real connection, both in mission and in people? Right, that the time that Sara and I really spent really trying to make sure that we were on the same page, that we were willing to do it, we were willing to work with each other in this way, and then have enough of a relationship when there were bumps in the road that you could, right, and then that radiates.
I'm sure it wasn't all sunshine and roses, right? There were times that you had to.
That's right.
We did.
And really have hard conversations.
Yeah. And Sean's right that the relationship really helped. Yeah. I know speaking for myself, I know that there were times when I, thought I can't do this. This is really hard. And Sean really brought it back. Why are we doing this? What's our mission? How can I help? So that partnership really undergirds all of this, to your point.
Yeah, and I think, the patience to do it right. If you think about, Sara has spent all of this time, right, in a very successful organization, right, thinking about how we bring these pieces together and, putting up with, the push and pull of me and then also of all the folks, on our side of the work to really bring this together. And I think you're going to have that patience, right? As much as we moved urgently, it really couldn't have happened any faster. And it's really not over, right, that there is a need to be able to constantly be kind of coming back to this, direction that you're trying to move in and the things you're trying to get done.
I think you asked about milestones. I guess I would also say, what are the investments that are helpful in thinking about a merger? And for us, those outside consultants were helpful. And now, as we're going through this, the investment of a coach for us and our senior management team has been invaluable to make sure that we're continuing to go back to the why, go back to the relationship, go back to why are we doing this?
Yeah, and you know, I think the other piece is, are you better together? I mean, right? I think that answering that question, and really not just saying it, but really showing people that it is true.
And that's a multidimensional component, right?
Yes.
It's the culture, it's some of the financial components, it's the resources that you combine.
Yes.
Yeah,
And the student experience,
absolutely.
right? Is the student experience better, richer, more robust as a result of us doing our work together?
Yes.
Yeah.